Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for a brand new cast slash speed build combo. Wasn't sure where I was going with that. Anyways, today we are creating Kai's martial arts studio. In my previous video where I was playing around with Amy and I was building up my little town called Rockridge, I told you how recently Amy has gotten into martial arts and it's really been such a huge help to her mental health because she has been feeling burnt out just all over in her life. You know what I'm saying? And so today I wanted to not only create the martial arts studio that she goes to, but I wanted to create the owner. So here is Kai. I think he is to die for. He is absolutely gorgeous, as you can imagine. He's fit, he's disciplined, he's just everything in between. Also, you might notice that the original dojo owner looked a little bit different, and that is because I am actually using a mod that introduces martial arts not only as a brand new skill, but there's new objects and things like that. And honestly, it is so much fun. If you guys can download custom content, I highly recommend you playing around with the martial arts mod. I'm going to review it here on the channel, maybe today, possibly tomorrow, but I definitely will so that you guys can get a better idea of how it works. And also, if you did want to download this build, you can change it into anything that your heart desires. You could change it into like a Japanese restaurant or maybe just, you know, a fitness center. It's completely up to you. But because Mr. Kai here does have a backstory, we're going to dive into that right now. Kai Soto was born into a family deeply rooted in martial arts traditions. His grandfather was a renowned martial artist who founded a small martial arts school in their community of Rockridge. As a child, Kai would often watch in awe as his grandfather would teach his classes. Noticing his grandson's interest in the arts, his grandfather would hold private lessons for Kai after the studio closed. Kai's determination and dedication led to him becoming a black belt at just 19 years old. Kai's beloved grandfather passed away peacefully only 3 years ago, leaving the studio in his grandson's name, making Kai the new proud owner of the treasured dojo that has been a pillar in the community for decades. Determined to make his late grandfather proud, Kai continues to teach his classes in his name, continuing the Soto legacy. Circling back to what I was saying earlier about Kai being disciplined, this is a new trait that is a part of the mod, which I will definitely talk about when I do the mod review on the martial arts mod. But in terms of Kai himself, he does have this like red ensemble. I'm pretty sure you guys saw it in the beginning of the video that he wears throughout all of his categories because he isn't like a mean sim or anything. I didn't feel the need to change it, but I did give him like a regular everyday wear outfit just in case we see him on the streets. I'm not gonna lie though, there is something very, very charming about this man. I'm not sure if it's the fact that he's really close to his grandfather or that he's a family man. And trust me, I'm not the only one that feels this way because when Amy had her class last night, the way that she looks at this man, it's almost as if she's in love. But having feelings for your instructor, oof, that can get messy. Sadly, we have to say goodbye to Kai for now, but let's move on to the build. In my previous video where we built Amy her brand new house here in Rockridge, I showed you guys how you can utilize the shells to make lots look a little more fuller than they actually are without having to build those shells yourself. I personally like doing this because I don't want to see inside of a shell and just see that it's empty. And I don't want to furnish it either because, well, that's just going to slow down the performance of the lot. And also that's just a lot more work that I'm creating for myself when in theory all I want to be functional is this lot, our martial arts studio. So in order to kind of blend everything together, I am obviously following the building design of those shells. I'm giving this particular building a little more personality, however, so I'm going in with this really thick, luxurious, elegant trim. I love the way that this elevates the look of the build. I'm also going in with a lot of base game windows and doors just because I mean, it's really cohesive looking and I couldn't find anything else that I liked more. I'm using a ton of Snowy Escape for this build, obviously. I feel like all of the items in it are just perfect for the type of build that I'm going for. You know, the martial arts studio has a lot of like hints of like, you know, Japanese culture and things like that. And so I like that. And I wanted to try to implement that into the build wherever I could. For the exterior, I'm doing a little bit of decorating, and this is actually going to transcend into the shells itself. Believe it or not, you can decorate the shells on the exterior to match your build. You don't have to just leave them blank and barren, and I like doing this again just to give it a little more life. Otherwise, they do kind of look quite flat. So That's just a little tip there. I decided to add in this little garage door. Of course, I'm throwing in this trash can. And y'all, I learned something new. I learned something new with Tool. So you don't have to one by one go and scale each object up. You can actually create a group and you can scale them up as a unit. So no more doing that individually. I think I did that in one of my builds, and I'm telling you, it was tedious. Nobody ever told me that was a possibility. I'm kind of mad at myself that it took me this long to figure it out, but I'm adding some window boxes to the first shell here. I also added in like a little, I don't know what the heck that's called, like a little air conditioning unit to the top there. I wanted to also add in some graffiti because in my vision, Rockridge isn't like super ran down, but it is. It's an older town. It definitely has its fair share of, crime and graffiti and things like that. It's definitely a little dirty too, but it has a lot of like character, a lot of culture, and I like that. It's a very close-knit community, I envision, and so even though there are some very questionable things happening, nobody asks because that's just the way of Rockridge, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, this first shell here is probably one of my favorites. I was toying around with the idea of kind of making it functional, so what I decided to do was add in like this little cafe patio because maybe this is a bakery or something. I don't know. I'm also not really sure why I went in with this like live edit fence. It's ugly. It's so ugly, and it's super duper low poly too. And I don't know. I had like a brain fart, but later I go in with a fence from, the game, and that really, really takes it to the next level. I mean, I guess it's not that bad. I think what I might end up doing is just putting down a food stall in between these two fences here. That way, if my sim does visit this part of Rockridge, they could grab a snack or maybe a beverage and then sit down at the patio and chairs and enjoy those items. However, for this lot specifically, I still wanted to add in like a food option, right? Because martial arts, that's a lot of work, especially if you're coming after school or maybe after work or before work even, and you want to grab a quick little bite to eat. There is a vending machine inside that has several items that your sims can enjoy, and then, you can sit outside or you can just eat them right in the studio. Although I don't think Kai would appreciate you eating on the studio or inside the studio. So you might actually have to go sit outside after all. I don't know. So my main idea behind the rest of this lot was just kind of blending it into the outskirts of Rockridge. This area is definitely a little dirty, a little dingy. You might see a rat or two. So I wanted to make sure that I added in some weird miscellaneous items. So in the back there, we have pallets, we've got tires, a cone, trash, garbage. Why they're there, who left them there, and why they are still there is definitely a mystery to me and everybody who visits this part of town. Although nobody seems to want to pick it up, despite the fact that there's tons of trash cans and places where they could dispose of the items. But again, I like it. I like when I add in like just dirty, grungy things. Like I love when the game is it's just trashy, but like not in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I've always like, even in my Sims 2 days or Sims 3 days, I loved creating just really grungy ran down builds and having my Sims live in them. I don't know what it is about it. I just like it. It's just more my aesthetic, my vibe. So this whole area is just completely right up my alley. I had definitely had a lot of trouble playing around and adding in like the grass and the foliage in the back here. I wanted it to have a little more character because it was just really empty back here, and as you can see, I've done a pretty diligent job about making sure that the area is just full of trees and plants and grass, and so just to have like that area be blank too, that was weird. I don't know if I had trash back there. I think I do. I don't know. Maybe I overdid it a little bit back here, but I had a lot of fun just playing around and just making this area full of life. It's crazy. Like once you learn the tool mod, I'm telling you, it changes everything. I wish there was a way that I could take this little town that I've made and give it to you guys in like a save or something, because it's just, I mean, even though there's only like one residential lot and one retail lot right now, I mean, yeah, maybe I could expand on that and I could do the rest of Evergreen Harbor, but still, it's a lot of fun to play in. But unfortunately, I am playing in Kayla's little Simsy save, so I would have to like recreate this part of Rockridge and then put it in a save, which I don't know. I might do it. I might do it, but I don't want to give y'all any promises because I don't know. I haven't quite decided if it's, you know, something that I want to pursue, making a save and all. But definitely I'm like warming up to the idea, especially when I'm doing things like this. So we are finally diving into the build. So the first thing that I'm doing is I am making the top, what is that, like the second level, a shell. But what I'm doing so that I don't see inside of it is I'm adding in a platform. I've shown you this trick several times. This is a method that I use when I'm trying to create new layouts for apartments and things like that. You know, I'm blocking off certain portions of them so it gives the illusion that the apartment is bigger or has a different layout. So for the interior, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's a martial arts studio. You could go super crazy with it, or you could kind of keep it very low key. Obviously, this is kind of like a mom and pop type of martial arts studio. It's been in the family for a very long time. So I wanted to just, you know, make it kind of small and quaint and cozy. I'm adding in 2 bathrooms. I'm also throwing in a shower, obviously a toilet. I like the way that, you know, these doors here kind of lead into that. And then I also put down some lockers too, which you'll see me do in here just a second, but I am adding in, you know, like light switches and things like that. There's a towel to like wash your hands. And I do believe the martial arts mod has like a specific lot type to run the martial arts studio. I think it's just called a dojo or something. So there's certain lot requirements that I need to fulfill in order to be able to have this be a fully functioning martial arts studio. So we're laying down some of the mats. I'm putting in not a whole bunch, but a bunch of different like wall art decor from Snowy Escape. I'm also throwing in this little sign here that says no shoes because I mean, it's a martial arts studio. You know what I'm saying? You don't do any like martial arts and shoes, right? I've never partaked in martial arts in my life, so I honestly don't know. But I'm throwing in some CC because I am using CC to create this build. I figured, you know what, it's okay to add in a few more items. So I have like a little water station here. So if your Sims get thirsty, they can help themselves to a cup of water. I'm also putting in some signage and just anything that I can find to kind of add a little character. I didn't want to overdo it, but I also wanted it to be kind of a fun place to come and walk into and feel inspired by. I also have I think these are the Sims 3 converted karate machines. I don't know what the hell they're called. So that is a completely separate mod or a piece of CC than the actual martial arts mod itself, which I will go over again when I make that video. So I'm just adding in like some curtains, some random decor. We have like hanging jackets and things like that. I wanted to put in that little rain chain, but decided not to. And I'm adding in a couple other details, but really I think that's about it. Like, it's a super quick build, nothing too crazy. But anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you're liking the builds that I'm putting out lately. It's definitely a little more different, I would say, but it's just, I feel like I'm finally coming into my own. I'm coming in to my build style and I'm loving it. So I hope you guys are too. Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here. I hope that you all enjoyed, and if you did, you know what to do, boo. Don't forget to go ahead and comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below where the sun does not shine, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.